Why are we here? Why did God choose to leave you and I on this crazy earth? I'm sure you've asked that question before. I've pondered that question, and in today's video, I want to help answer that question, so don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Pastor Joshua Putnam. I'm thrilled that you're here, thrilled that you hit the play button. And today I want to help answer the question, why are we here? More specifically, why did Jesus pray even and ask the Father to leave us here? Why are we on this crazy earth when heaven would be so much better? And so as we try to answer that question today, why are we here? There are several ways that you may try to answer that question. The Westminster Shorter Catechism says man's chief end is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. We probably would answer this question that way. God created us to glorify Him, and we could easily agree to that yes, we're here to glorify God. God created us for that. Maybe you would say, well, we're here to worship God. I would put that kind of in the same as glorifying God, but I would then push back and challenge this. If we are created and here to glorify God, aren't we going to do that in heaven? We're going to bring Him glory. We're going to worship Him in heaven. In fact, we understand that we are going to do it better in heaven, because in heaven we're going to have our pure bodies, our sinless hearts, and we are going to be able to worship God in a way that we've never worshiped Him before. Maybe some of you are saying, well, we're here to serve God. We're here on this earth so we can serve Him. But again, I would say, are we not going to be serving God in heaven? And yes, we are. So won't it be better for us? Wouldn't it be better for us to be serving God in heaven with no distractions on this earth? John 17, 14, and 15. Again, this is what I've referenced a little bit. Jesus says, I have given them your word, and the world has hated them because they are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. And then in verse 15, he says something really interesting. He says, I do not ask that you take them out of the world, but that you keep them from the evil one. So we would ask the question, why? Why did Jesus pray that for us? 1 John 3:2, Beloved, we are God's children now, and what we will be has not yet appeared. But we know that when He appears, we shall be like Him, because we shall see Him as He is. Think about that. When we see God, when we see Christ, we will be like Him. That's our goal today, is to become like Christ. And so when we see Him, we will be as He is, because we will see Him. So why doesn't God just speed up this amazing reunion? Why would God leave us here to deal with this terrible world instead of bringing us to heaven where we can be like Christ the way that God intended in the first place? And I want to answer that question today with something maybe more simple than we think, but something I believe we miss. Here is what I believe is the answer to that question. Jesus left us on this earth to do what He did. Jesus left us on this earth to continue what He started. What did Jesus do? What did He start? Well, Jesus found 12 men, and then eventually they thinned down to 11, but Jesus found 12 men, and He invested in those men. He invested His life into a few people so that they could then go and invest in others. We begin to understand, when we think about why Jesus left us here, the importance then of the last recorded words of Jesus. And in the last recorded words of Jesus, really, we find a command. Maybe you've never heard this term before, but I call these last recorded words, as many do, the Great Commission. Barna has done a study, and they have found that 51% of churchgoers have never heard the term Great Commission. Another 25% would say they've heard it, but they don't know what it means. Only 17% of churchgoers in America would say that they understand this term, the Great Commission. and they know what it means. They know the passage that it goes with. Yet that's why God left us here. And in the next series of videos that I'm going to do, I'm going to help you understand and help defend why I would say this is why I believe we are here. So we need to look at Matthew 28, verse 18 and 20. It says, "And Jesus said to them, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." If you remember, I just recently did a video that talked about who this passage is for, and I said that it's for everybody. If you want to understand better why, if you want to see that video, I will tag it on the end of this video, and you can watch that one. But Jesus now is giving us this commission. He's saying, go do what I did. This is why we are on this earth. And if we're on this earth to do this, then the question has to be asked, are we doing it? And we can support this idea from different verses. Romans chapter 10, Jesus says Paul says, how will they hear without a preacher? And how will they preach unless they're sent? This idea of going. It was God's design that you and I would be the ones that would share the gospel. When Paul talks about this idea of how will they hear without a preacher, he's not talking about a preacher like me, a pastor. He's talking about the speaking of the good news of the gospel. And then we see other areas. In 1 Corinthians, we see this design that God says, I've chosen the foolishness of preaching. God chose you and I to be the ones to give the gospel to spiritually needy and lost people. And so that's why we're here. That's why he left us here. What I want you to understand in this video is that if you are breathing air, so if you're watching this video, if you woke up this morning and you're still breathing, there's a mission for you. God has you here for a purpose, because when God is finished with us on this earth, that's when we go home. Jesus said, I want you, Father, to leave them here, protect them, but leave them here because I have a mission for them, and I want them to do what I did. We so often forget the reason we're on this earth, and we simplify it, I think, too often when we say, well, we're here to serve God and we're here to glorify God. Those things are true. But we're going to do those much better when we're in glory anyway. So why is it that you and I are walking this earth, why we're breathing air today? It is because Jesus left us here to do what he did. And then he says that in his last words before he ascends into heaven. He says to his disciples, look, you know what I've started. Now you go and do the same thing. So are you following the commission that Jesus gave us today? And if you want to better understand what that commission or that mission is, hit the subscribe button. I have several more videos that are coming out after this video that are going to help you understand that better. In fact, I mentioned the video that I previously recorded. You can see that at the end, but also the very next video, you don't have to wait. It's right here at the end of this video. Click on that one and continue watching and better understand what our mission is. Are you living out your why today?